Hey there, GFN here, and this is the second part of the Q&A that I was doing. So basically, a couple of weeks ago, I asked people to send me questions on a community post, and basically I'd answer them in a follow-up video. And the video that I ended up making was almost an hour long. So considering that I don't think anybody would want to sit through almost 2 hours of Q&A stuff, I decided to split the video in half. So this is the second part of the Q&A, where I'll be answering the remaining questions that I got asked in the community post, as well as on the original commentary announcement video. So yeah, that's basically what this video is about. So let's get started. How'd shredded cheese become a meme? Yeah, so it all started on like an Instagram group chat I'm part of with a couple of friends. Like, we have a couple of shredded cheese jokes in there, and I made a bet to see like if you could make 10 Gravity Falls memes that are only focused on shredded cheese. And so like I was able to do that, and it ended up being a really successful joke series of memes. But like, when I was sitting down to make Gravity Falls meme 17, I was running short on ideas, so I decided to just cram all the shredded cheese memes I came up with into that video. And yeah, I didn't think, and that happened around the same time that the channel started to explode in popularity back in June last year. And I guess because of that and just the weirdness of shredded cheese memes, like it caught on and became sort of an inside joke among like friends and like the server. And like, yeah, I mean, there isn't really any like crazy story behind it. It wasn't intentional. It wasn't like me trying to make a inside joke or anything like that to some extent. But like, yeah, it kind of just exploded in popularity at the right place at the right time, and it's like that's where it is now. So, I mean, I don't mind it. Like, I mean, I probably will break some hearts by saying this, but I don't really eat shredded cheese that like at all. So, yeah, there's that. So, I mean, it's kind of not a meme in my regards, but like, yeah. So yeah, that's basically the story of the shredded cheese. I love Chewie. Um, yeah, I think Chewbacca is cool. Um, he is a good Star Wars character. Um, I don't know if that's a question though. What's your opinion on frogs? I think they're cool. I mean, frogs are an interesting type of animal, and they make good cartoon characters, as we know. So, I mean, yeah, I guess that's it. We did have a pet frog in my sixth grade class, so that was pretty cool. Um, I don't really have much involvement or knowledge of frogs. I'm not like a frog expert, so I can't really answer that beyond that. So, next question. Where do you find all the deleted scenes? Okay, so, the deleted scenes that are on this channel are all from the Gravity Falls Complete Series box set. Basically, in the box set came a 1 hour long deleted scenes reel from season 2 of Gravity Falls, and I kind of disliked the way it was recorded because like it's recorded from like the side of a table, and you can barely see, in at least the DVD version, like you can barely make out what's going on the screen. Like, I really would love to meet who the genius was in the box set team that came up with the idea to do that, rather than screen record the scenes and have like a voiceover in the background or something. Because like that really was just, it was infuriating. Like, it feels like you're watching like a pirated DVD instead of like an actual official DVD. But yeah, so basically the deleted scenes that I have on the channel all come from there. Um, a long time ago, back in 2018, when the box set originally first came out, they were like all the clips and deleted scenes were posted onto YouTube, and basically that's where I ended up finding all these scenes from. Like, I mean, I have the box set myself, but I don't have a working DVD player anymore, and my main PC doesn't even have a DVD port, like, because modern PCs, apparently laptops at least, don't have them. And yeah, so I managed to get them off there, and I have a lot of files saved, so that's where I mainly get my Gravity Falls deleted scene clips. And I don't think I'm gonna upload any more to the channel because, like, I mean, a lot of the deleted scenes are really long, and they're not insanely interesting, I'd say. I mean, I'd say probably the few deleted scenes I don't have on the channel that are interesting are probably from Now What He Seems and A Tale of Two Stands. But I'd suggest like if you can buy the box set, like buy the box set, because like it's worth every penny. Unfortunately, of course, it's regional locked, so if you don't live in Canada or the United States, then you're kind of out of luck. But like if you have a region free player, like shouldn't be too much of a problem. But I think you can still find like the commentaries on YouTube. I mean, on YouTube and Spotify and other places. So yeah, there's that. But that's basically where I got the deleted scenes from. Did the chicken cross the road? Probably. I mean, that or it was sold to Kentucky Fried Chicken and is now in someone's stomach. How many times have you watched Gravity Falls? I've seen this show quite a few times already, like in rewatches and stuff. There are, I'll admit, some episodes that I have not rewatched that much. So, like, I'd say like episodes like Dipper vs. Meaningless, I probably only rewatched like once or twice since I first watched the show. While episodes like Time Traveler's Pig, which is my favorite episode, like I've seen that more times than I can count, really. So, yeah, it all depends. Like, I've seen some episodes more than I have seen some other episodes. I think the last time I properly rewatched the show was back in 2018 when the box set came out. I do have plans of probably doing it again, maybe when the 10-year anniversary of the show comes around, because, I think, like, as time goes on, you start to forget things about a show and might forget why you loved it so much. So, probably keeping up with the show and rewatching and seeing what happens is a good way to continue, like, loving it, I guess. But, it's up to you. But yeah, like, long story short, I've watched Gravity Falls a lot of times since I first watched it back in 2017. Does your name mean that Gravity Falls fan or that girlfriend fan? Which one do you want it to be? Plot twist, it stands for G Fuel. I don't know why I said that. That's like the first thing that came into mind, like, oh, fuck you, Keemstar.
What is up, Drop Alert Nation? I'm your host, Killer Keemstar. Let's get right into the news.
Pizza or Pop-Tarts? Pizza. Though if I had to pick anything else, it would be neither, and I would pick burgers. What's your favorite Gravity Falls background song? I'd have to say it's the little nostalgic-y sounding song that plays at that scene in The Inconvenience thing when they're going up the ladder onto the roof, like Dipper, Mabel, and Wendy. Like, that was a really beautiful piece of music, as well as it's the same song that plays at the end of the episode, and it also plays again in Little Dipper at the end of the episode. I have it on the channel, so you can check it out. That was like the first soundtrack clip that I uploaded onto this channel back in 2017, and that's kind of where I started the whole soundtrack idea. So occasionally I'm posting soundtrack clips onto the channel. That is still one of my all-time favorite pieces of music, background music, from not just Gravity Falls but any show. It's just so nostalgic-y sounding, and it's just incredible. Like, Brad Breek is an absolute genius, and yeah, like, go support his work, man. He is incredible. What show do you like more, Gravity Falls or Amphibia? I mean, Gravity Falls is always going to be all-time number one, but I would say Amphibia is a really close second. I'd say it's probably the best show that Disney has made since Gravity Falls has ended. Sorry, all those fans, I kind of like Amphibia a bit more. But, yeah, in all seriousness, like Amphibia is an amazing show, and I truly feel like it's one of the best things that's come out of, like, the past few years, because, like, I mean, 2020 was an absolute hellhole, and Amphibia Season 2 was kind of like the bright spot, one of the many bright spots alongside Hilda. Season 2. Like, Amphibia just has a lot of things about it that I love, and see the same in terms of reasons why I love Gravity Falls so much is the same reasons why I love Amphibia, and it just has that amazing vibe, and given the fact that we are approaching the third and final season and Matt Braley has confirmed that it's going to end the way he wants it to, it feels like Amphibia is going to go down the path of Gravity Falls in having a perfect ending and just being an all around amazing show. And just, I really am hopeful that it's going to do good. And I mean, yeah, I just love the show up so much, and I really do hope it does get the proper ending it deserves, and it does get the attention and recognition it also deserves, because it is a truly amazing show, and I'd argue it is, like I said, the best thing that Disney has made since Gravity Falls ended back in 2016. As someone who subscribed not that long ago, has your logo evolved since you began? Because I remember seeing this since I first came across your channel. Also, could you break down all the series where the individual letters come from? Given some of them are a bit unclear. Yeah, sure. The logo has come a long way since it first began. Originally, it was just like when the channel first launched. Like the logo that was on here was just the was just like that generic Dipper and Mabel Polaroid photo that you see like all around, like that some people have. But like eventually, in around 2017, I updated the logo to what I like to call the Purple Forest logo, which is just a background of like a background photo from, I think, Tourist Trap, and like I just put on like onto the logo just like generic like a font, and then just put the name of the project and stuff here, like so that GFN on here. And like that was what the main logo had been for a long time after that, and that's what was stayed there from like 2017 to like 2018, 2019. But then around that time, I decided to change the logo to what we have now, which I like to call the Time Warp logo. I don't know. I don't really have a name for this logo, but like, and like basically the idea was to just make something that's unique, like original, because like I thought about like what I could do. Like maybe I thought I was like, gonna do like a contest to see if someone could design a new logo and stuff like that, or something like that. But like ultimately, I decided I wanted to do it myself, like be original and just make my own logo for my own project. And basically, the breakdown is the T is from DuckTales, the H is from Hilda, the A is from Amphibia, the second T is from DuckTales as well. The GF is obvious, it's from Gravity Falls. The F is from Phineas and Ferb. The A is from Milo Murphy's Law, and the N is from Infinity Train. And that's basically how it's been since the logo originally was created. Like when I made it, I had a plan to release it in launch it in 2020, because I began work on it in December after like I had my finals. So like I had a really small time span in order to make the logo, and basically like I didn't really have an idea going in what the logo was going to be like to begin with. So I was just jumbling around, like looking at all the different shows that I watched and trying to find like specific letters from each of them. So like I think like if I had seen it back then, I probably would have added the A from Gumball instead of the A from Milo Murphy's Law, because like while I do love that show, like I haven't watched it a lot since I first saw it um back after like the last episode for that has ever come out aired back in, I think, 2019. So that's a bit of a stretch, so I can see why people are a bit confused about that aspect of the logo. But other than that, like I think like my goal was to make every single piece of the logo identifiable. The Infinity Train N gave me a lot of like headaches because it was so small in the font, but like I eventually had to like upscale it, and it's a bit blurry-ish looking compared to the other letters in the logo. But like, there's that. What can you do about that? And I have thought about like updating the logo since I made it. So I thought about like replacing the one of the T's with another show, because at the time I was just like I couldn't find another T, so I just reused the DuckTales T, even though I wanted to have, like with the exception of Gravity Falls, like one letter per show, one show per letter. And so yeah, that was a bit of a mess. I have thought about using the Owl House T, but like the T in that show's logo is a bit too small as well, and it would give me the same problems that the Infinity Train logo gave. And also, it's not as unique looking as the rest of the the Owl House logo is. So like, it's a bit not what I want to use. Like, I mean, the H, for example, is pretty recognizable, or the O, but like I already have an H and there isn't an O in the logo, so why use that? But other than that, like I have thought about like various other shows I could use, but like I've decided I'm just gonna keep it the way it is. Like it's like I want to change it, and if I could do it now, I'd do it a lot differently. But for now, it's the way it is, and I'm just gonna keep it that way because that's the logo, and I don't really want to change it. Has this channel changed you in a way? Do you think that you'd be the same person if you didn't create it? I'd say like this channel has been overall an interesting experiment because originally when I made it, like I said, like it was supposed to be a backup channel for a secondary project I was working on at the time back in 2016-17, and that project was completely unrelated to Gravity Falls and not anything related to what I do now, and that project never really caught on and never really ended up succeeding the way I wanted it to, so this channel sort of lay abandoned for a while, but then I decided like I want to do something for Gravity Falls, so I decided to just recycle this channel instead of making another one, and that's pretty much where this channel is now, and I see this channel as a sort of like an editing exercise. Like every single video I upload to an extent is an attempt at trying something different in editing software and trying to see what you can do with it. Like older projects were like testing how you can move certain like images and frames and stuff frame by frame, and some other videos are like green screen experiments and stuff like that. So every video is its own unique experiment, and that's basically how the channel has gone, and I basically see it as like an increased improvement in editing for me. Like I used to really suck at video editing, but I mean I'm not any better, and I'm not like amazing, but like I think I've gotten a lot better since the first video was uploaded on this channel, if you go back and look at that. So I think like this, in a way, this channel has been a really good teaching method for like video editing on my end, and I've really just gotten a lot better since then, and I'm really happy with where I am now. And yeah, I do enjoy continuing working on this channel, and I'm really excited to see where it goes next. Do you think you can make a Camp Gravity Falls crossover and post it to your channel and have your own voice impressions? I don't really watch that show, and I don't really have that like idea, and I'm not really a fan of crossovers to that extreme extent, so probably not. Sorry. What's your favorite background character in Gravity Falls? Well, there's a lot of background characters in the show that I absolutely love. I'm gonna assume background character in that like they're not like a recurring character, so like characters like Pacifica or like Magaka I'm not gonna include in that sense because like they're recurring characters. So in terms of like background characters which are like rarely seen in the show, I'd say Quentin Tremblay is my favorite character because like he was just a hilarious character, but also a really unique. He was a really interesting character in the sense that like he looks like he's dumb, but he's actually pretty smart in some ways. So like, I really wish that the show went back and did more with him. I remember in the box set Alex talking about how like he wanted to do another Tremblay episode, but they never really did it, and like it kind of sucks that he wasn't even in Weird Mageddon 3. Like, I mean, he was in like the end credits, but like he wasn't like actively helping them defeat Bill and stuff, which really sucks because that would have been pretty cool to see him again. Lost Legends did give me a lot of hope because like when the cover for the book was revealed and it had Dipper holding the president's key that Tremblay gave him, I had this feeling that maybe he was gonna return. Like maybe there'd be a story in the book where like the twins, or maybe like because like Pacifica was like being teased as a main character in this book, so like I thought like maybe her and Dipper and Tremblay would go on some adventure together and like something like that because like the president's key, but like obviously that didn't happen. Instead, it was used by Dipper to open the door to like the demon market thing, which yeah, like that was great and stuff. Like I thought the story like with them was amazing. Like Face It was one of my favorite stories in Lost Legends, but like I mean I was a bit disappointed that Tremblay wasn't in it, but like not entirely. Like I wasn't as disappointed as I was with like Don't Dimension It not being a Mabel and Ford bonding story, for example. So like yeah, there's that. But long story short, favorite background character is Quentin Tremblay. 8.5 President, Tremblay 2024. I'm only happy because the Amphibia A and the Gravity Falls letters, but where's the Owl House? When I made the logo for the channel, the Owl House hadn't yet premiered, but Amphibia had, and I really loved Amphibia, so I obviously decided I'm going to include Amphibia into the logo. If the Owl House had aired before that, or if it aired around the time I was making, around the time I was making the logo, I might have included it, but I don't know, like at the time I was really juggling around different letters, and like by that time I'd already confirmed that like I was gonna use the the H from Hilda, but maybe I would have switched up and used the A from Hilda instead to switch it up, because like the Owl House, the only letter in the Owl House logo that really could work in the logo is the H, because the other letters don't really match up that well, and the T is a bit, like I said in the other question, like it's a bit too small to fit in. So like maybe I would have included the Owl House logo if the show had come out. The only reason I didn't include it was because like I wanted to include only shows that I had already seen and known were gonna be good. Like I knew the Owl House was gonna be good going in beforehand. Like 'cause obviously like being made by Dana and other Gravity Falls members, it's obviously gonna be a really good show. But I hadn't yet seen it, and I didn't know if it was gonna be like stellar or if it was gonna be a show that I would actually like. So because of that, I didn't want to have the logo of a show that I wasn't sure of yet on the main logo. So for that reason, I didn't include it. But that's pretty much it. And I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna change the logo anytime soon. And I mean, at this point, it's kind of just permanent. So I don't think I'm gonna be adding the Yellow House logo in there anytime soon. So sorry about that. What's your favorite season and series finale? Um, Obviously, Gravity Falls is my absolute favorite series finale because of all the other aforementioned things about it. Like, it perfectly ended the show and was an amazing story and insane and stellar. But, like, another show that I absolutely adored the series finale of as well, was DuckTales. Mainly because the DuckTales finale, I think, is probably the most satisfying ending to any show since Gravity Falls and probably ever will be. Because here's what I think. So I had always, from the first day that DuckTales premiered, just loved Webby's character. Like I thought she was really amazing, like unique and creative. I haven't seen the original DuckTales, but from what I've heard from like people who have seen it, Webby in that show was not a likable character, and in this show they made her into a truly amazing and likable character. And I could tell like Webby was loved by pretty much everybody you talked to, like DuckTales fans that I was with at the time, and one of the things that we ultimately began to notice at the show was doing was that like each season was focused on one of the triplets. So like season 1 was Dewey's season, season 2 was Louie's season, and season 3 was Huey's season. But at the same time, they were always hinting about something about Webby, and there was just something about her character that just hinted that there was probably going to be something more to her than what meets the eye. And that ultimately resulted in a lot of theories about possibly a Webby origin story coming up soon. And with each episode that focused a little bit on Webby, like that hope became more and more. And that ultimately was extremely amplified when like the Harp episode came out, like the one them at that like underwater city. And like at the end, where it's like the Harp is telling Webby that Beakley is fibbing and stuff. So like, or she didn't hear that, but like we could hear, as the viewers could hear it, and like that left no doubt that there was gonna be something big coming up about Webby's character, and we needed to be ready for that. And of course, like afterwards, like the show didn't really start going towards that, and kind of people got a bit worried. Like especially me, I was like, they better not end the show without telling us what happened to Webby. And obviously they didn't, because the DuckTales finale, oh my gosh, it did everything so perfectly. Like, I know some people probably are going to be a bit judgmental or critical about that series finale, but for me, it was perfect. Like, it did everything I hoped for about Webby's character and more so. Like, watching that finale for the first time is just an experience I'll never forget, because, like, so many questions, man, were answered. So many things I was hoping would be answered were answered in that finale. Like, we found out about what Webby's origin was. We found out why she was the way she is, like, and what about her made her so incredible. Like, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but like, holy cow, like that was unbelievably incredible. Like, we finally figured out what was up with Webby, like what her origin story was and why she is such a lovable and amazing character. And it just made Webby an even better character at the end of it all. And yeah, like, it was a perfectly satisfying ending. Like, I mean, obviously, I do feel like DuckTales could have gone on for a lot longer and that there could have been a fourth season, and there are hopes. There were people who hoped that there would be, but I feel like the DuckTales finale satisfied everything that I wanted out of the show, and I think like I would be down for more, but I feel like we've gotten to the point where it's like, yes, this is perfect. Like, DuckTales did it. Like, few shows can have a perfect finale, but DuckTales is definitely one of those few shows, and that is obviously, in my opinion, to this date, alongside Gravity Falls, the best series finale I've ever seen from a show. What would you call it if someone was romantically attracted to themselves? Um, let me look it up. Romantically attracted to. Oh, I'm gonna have to wipe my internet history after this. Oh god. Autoromanticism? Is that what it is? Autoromanticism is the term of experience of romantic attraction to oneself. You learn something new every day. Thank you, Internet. What's your favorite ship in the Owl House, GF, and Amphibia? I think with the Owl House, it's pretty obvious what the ship is. Obviously, I think Emmy and Luz are pretty much the power couple that everybody is hoping is gonna end up being canon. Well, I mean, it is canon already, but it's just exciting. It is a pretty groundbreaking thing, and the Owl House really has done a lot of amazing things for Disney and just representation in cartoons, which is just incredible. And I really hope it does end up going the way that Dana wants it to, because that would be amazing to see if that's how the show ends when it does. So obviously I think it's pretty obvious what it is with the Owl House. With GF, it's a bit more iffy. I mean, I do like some ships, like Dipper and Pacifica, for example. That's a really popular ship, but at the end of the day, I'm not really interested in shipping with shows, especially with Gravity Falls, given Alex said he didn't really want the show to end up being a shipping thing, which is kind of ironic given he made 50 million episodes related to Dipper's love of Wendy. But yeah. At the end of the day, I don't really have any major ships that I do like legitimately, so there's that, more so ironically memed. But yeah, that's pretty much it. With Amphibia, it's kind of more complicated because Amphibia, it's just frogs, so humans, that's kind of gross. But I'd say in terms of popular ships that I do like, Ivy and Sprig are really amazing. So there's that. So there you go. That's pretty much it about shipping. I'm not really a shipper. I don't really care about ships. I watch shows for story and entertainment, and that's pretty much it. And also for character development and bonding. I'm still salty about not having Mabel and Ford bonding in Gravity Falls. So there's that. If you were in any cartoon, which one would it be? I'd say probably Gravity Falls is an obvious choice because Gravity Falls is just an amazing place. I don't think people appreciate the location of Gravity Falls as much as they should be, because Gravity Falls is located in the Pacific Northwest, and the Pacific Northwest is probably one of the most beautiful places on Earth. I have a lot of bucket list locations I want to visit, and a lot of them are, funny enough, in the United States, and the Pacific Northwest is one of them, and just it's just such a fabulous place to be, and just there's so many things in the Pacific Northwest that people don't really appreciate and much of, or anywhere. But yeah, Gravity Falls is an amazing location, and I definitely would love to visit the Pacific Northwest and probably be there. The only other place that probably rivals it is Hilda's world, Krollberg. I mean, Hilda is, technically speaking, from what I know, it's set in Scandinavia, and Scandinavia is another really amazing place that I would love to visit and just really want to check out, and, there's another reason why I want to go to Hilda's world, for example. So, it'd probably be sort of a live in Hilda's world, summer destination, Gravity Falls, or vice versa. I don't know, it's a hard to pick tie between those two shows, because, I just love them so much. Why isn't Big City Greens included in your logo alphabet? Do you know Big City Greens? It's not that. It's just that I haven't seen Big City Greens. I have been pestered and told by so many people, oh my god, to watch it, and I have been intrigued about watching it. Even the freaking show creators, both of them, Shane and Houghton, what are those guys' names? They even, added me on Twitter, and they're just watch the show, man. And, oh gosh, when the creators of the show tell you to watch it, then you probably should. And yeah, I am interested in watching it. I have had I've been meaning to watch it for ages now. I just haven't gotten around the time to doing so because like there's just so many other shows that I'm currently interested in, and like I just don't want to immediately start focusing on another show until like I finish the other shows that I'm watching. And I think probably I'll give Big City Greens a try once the shows that I'm currently watching are over. So like Amphibia is set to wind down with its third and final season, and The Owl House doesn't look like it's gonna be around for much longer either. So once those two shows are done, and I don't really have any, and given I don't really have any interest of anything else that Disney's making, I'm probably gonna go back and give Big City Greens a try. I'm really hopeful that the show. I have heard a lot of good things about the show, and it does seem like a show that I will definitely really love. So I'm definitely interested in watching it, and it's just a matter of time to watch it. I mean, it took me 2 years from saying that I wanted to watch Gumball to actually watching Gumball. So I'm pretty slow at watching shows. So there's that. I mean, I have a backlog of movies to watch as well. So I have a lot of media to catch up on. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm slow. So yeah. Sorry about that, but like, yeah, Big City Greens isn't on the logo because I hadn't seen Big City Greens, and I don't think it's ever going to be on it for the same reason why the Owl House logo isn't going to be on the logo as well. So there's that. So, long story short, I am interested in watching Big City Greens. I haven't checked it out yet, but I will eventually. So there's that. Who's your least favorite character in Gravity Falls? There's a lot of characters that I dislike in Gravity Falls. There's some characters that I like, but don't also like at the same time, like Stanford, for example. Like, I'm not a big fan of Stanford to a huge extent, but I also don't hate him, and like so I won't really count him as a bad character because he's likable, and I'll also probably be cancelled by the Gravity Falls fandom if I said otherwise. But like, so like the character that I probably dislike a lot in Gravity Falls would probably have to be I don't know, Gideon, Robbie, probably, because like they're atrocious, but like I'm not a big fan of either character, and I thought like both of them were pretty iffy, like meh. Other characters that I'm not a big fan of probably would be like minor background characters, which probably doesn't matter too much, but like, I mean, it's really hard to pinpoint a character that I absolutely despise. Like, that probably would be a good idea. It probably would be make a good tier list video that if I ever do, like, because I also made a Gravity Falls characters tier list video, and that probably would be cool to do, but I don't really have any character that I immediately can think of off the bat that I absolutely despise apart from those two, so there's that. Yeah. What's your least favorite Owl House episode? Probably people are gonna hate me for saying this, but I'm not a big fan of the Hexite episodes, like the ones that are specifically specific to like the school, because like I kind of wish the Owl House focused more on just Luz's training to become a witch and her like interactions with Ida and stuff, rather than the whole Hexite stuff. Because like, I mean, I'm just not a fan of like the whole high school trope anymore. Like, I mean, it was funny and it was interesting in other shows, but not so much in the Owl House. I mean, that might have something to do with the fact that like all the previous shows that I've seen, so like Infinity Train, Amphibia, Hilda, DuckTales, whatnot, and Gravity Falls, like none of them were set in a school setting either. So there's that. Well, I mean, Amphibia sort of was, but like, not really. But you know, like I'm kind of not familiar that much anymore with the old high school trope thing. So I'm not a big fan of episodes of the Owl House that take place during that period. But you know, there's that. What's your least favorite Gravity Falls episode? It'd probably have to be Dippers versus Manliness. I'm just not a big fan of that episode, and I just don't like it. Like, it just feels too mean spirited of an episode. Like, I mean, I'm not someone who despises, like, I'm not someone who's like as like insane about Dipper that much, but like at the same time, like I can see why fans kind of dislike this episode, and since like Dipper was kind of too much bullied in this episode by Mabel and Stan, which is one of those few unforgivable things that Mabel did. But like, you know, overall, I just don't like this episode. Although it is redeemed by Disco Girl, which is an amazing song. Least favorite Amphibia episode. I think Amphibia is probably the only show I don't really have a least favorite episode for. Maybe episodes that I'm not as big a fan of, but I don't know. There's not really any episode of Amphibia I can think of off the bat that I really dislike. I mean, every episode of Amphibia has been amazing, and it's probably one of the only shows that I have seen that isn't like, it's just such a don't judge a book by its cover show, because like I thought I wouldn't like Amphibia as much as I did the Owl House, but it sort of ended up being vice versa. Like, I love Amphibia a lot more, and it's just amazing. It's just like I think the moral of the story is never judge a book by its cover, because Amphibia is just amazing, and yeah, there's just I don't really have anything negative to say about Amphibia. It's just such a good show. So yeah, there's that. What are your most favorite memes? Gravity Falls memes. Also aviation memes. I have two questions actually. Number one, do Ida, the Owl Lady, and Grunkle Stan have a history? And my second question is, how the heck does Bill Cipher go to the bathroom every night? I think about it and it doesn't make it. Oh my god, what is wrong with? Yeah, Hill, Ida, Grunkle Stan, that stuff. It feels like every time a new show comes out, there's some connection to it with Gravity Falls to some extent that people like making. But yeah, like I mean, I think it's a cool theory. I mean, at the end of the day, I think Dana said something about on the line of like Gravity Falls and the Owl House don't have really any connection, which kind of sucks because it kind of ruins all these theories. But like, I mean, at the end of the day, like I don't really mind. Like if like fan theories are gonna be fan theories, so like if you want to think like Grunkle Stan and either a thing, like go ahead. In terms of Bill Cipher, your guess is as good as mine, my friend. I saw some memes related to aviation on your channel. Are you an aviation fan? Yes, I am. I am a outside of Gravity Falls, I am a huge aviation geek, like ave geek, whatever you want to call them. But like I've been obsessed with aviation since like I was little. Like probably, I think I probably was watching documentaries about aircraft before I was watching my first cartoons. So like, I could probably tell you back then about the Boeing 747 more than I could ever tell you anything about SpongeBob. So like, when other kids were probably watching SpongeBob, I was watching documentaries on the 747 or something like that, and like watching like air crash investigation. It's because like that was probably one of my favorite shows back then. How am I not traumatized as that? How was I not traumatized by those crashes? But yeah, so like, long story short, like I am a huge aviation nerd. Like if you look below my Gravity Falls related stuff on the shelves, like you'll find planes, like just memorabilia stuff like that, like models. Like I'm just a huge nerd about that stuff. Like it and history are two of my biggest passions outside of Gravity Falls, which I'd say like probably I'm playing catch up for all the stuff that I never watched back then because I was busy reading about Amelia Earhart going missing and stuff like that. I mean, I could tell you more about World War II back then than I could tell you anything about other shows. So, so yeah, like I'm a pretty big nut about that stuff. Like I love them. I love that stuff. Like the Cold War, World War II. They're two of my favorite eras in history. So like, I always just love learning about that stuff. And aircraft are a huge passion of mine. And um, it's something that I probably would be focusing a lot more on if I hadn't discovered Gravity Falls. So Gravity Falls could have become my next big hobby, but like interest. But you know, like aviation has been there as an interest of mine since the early days, like since I was like little. So that is a passion of mine that I'm going to continue to do. And like I always like mixing it in with my Gravity Falls related stuff. So like that's, for example, like the last April Fool's video I made was Gravity Falls memes returning, but it was actually just aviation memes. So there's that. But yeah, long story short, I am a huge aviation geek, and that is something that I am truly passionate about. It's also not a show that's made by any of the big three. So like it's not made by Cartoon Network, it's not made by Nickelodeon or Disney, which means that it got a lot different of a feeling to it than these other shows do, which is just incredible. And it's just I've gotten a lot tired of like the current three networks don't really have any shows out right now that I'm all that interested in, and like Hilda is the show that's outside of them all, and it's just doing its own thing, and it's just incredible. It's made by a truly amazing dedicated team of people, and it has a really amazing group of fans, which is just amazing. It is an amazing show, and I really love it, and yeah, I cannot recommend Hilda enough. In terms of movies, I don't really have any movies that I can recommend because I'm not really caught up on a lot of movies. So, yeah. What's Pixar up to right now? Will there be Russian subtitles on your videos? I don't really do subtitles. I mean, if they end up automatically generating, I guess. But like, if you want to add them yourself, I might open the community thing that is for about subtitles. I don't know. Do you think Dipper could be evil? No, not at all. What was the first GF episode you watched, and what do you think was the main factor that made you attracted towards the show? First episode I saw was obviously Tourist Trap, And the thing that really got me interested in the show is just how unique it felt, and just something. There's something about Gravity Falls that just made me feel like, yeah, this is gonna be a good show. Like I don't really think I can pinpoint what it was, but I just really loved the show from the get go, and yeah, I mean, here we are now. How do you get noticed by people? I'm trying to be noticed and what your experience was. Um, I'd say like there's no real success keys to success. I think it's just like put your work out there and just keep going. Like don't feel unmotivated or anything like that. Like just always like be just do your best, and just and if people are interested in watching it, they'll watch it. Like I don't think there's really any real key to it. It's just like everybody has their own way of making it out there, and my way was just putting my stuff out there and seeing what people are seeing what it seeing how it works. Like yeah, that's pretty much it. Like just do what you love and do it, and just put your 110% into it, and if people want to watch it, they'll watch it. And it could lead to success, it could lead to stagnation. It all depends on what you do. Like don't try to do something based on what is popular if you're not interested in it, obviously. But like do what you love, and if people love it back, like you'll get an audience. Like that's how it works, basically. I'd say like doing what you love is a lot more satisfying than doing what will get you more views, because like I could easily convert this channel to like Owl House related stuff, and I'd probably get like a million views a video or something like that. Or I don't know how popular the Owl House is, but like that's not my passion. Like I love the Owl House, but it's not my main interest. So for me, Gravity Falls was and always will be my main interest, and I'm gonna continue working with Gravity Falls. Like even if Gravity Falls isn't the most popular thing anymore, like I still love it, and if people are interested in it, they'll watch it, and that is to me all that matters. If doing what I love, which is Gravity Falls. When did you start watching Gravity Falls? Do you have any nice fandom memories from while the show was airing? I started watching Gravity Falls in 2017. Yeah, I'm a bit late to the party. Though I have mentioned, like, I knew about the show long before that, all the way back to 2012, and I have seen like the shorts, like back in when they were airing in 2013 and 2014. But the overall show I only ended up getting into in 2017. So because of that, like, I don't really have any fandom memories from when the show was airing. So all my memories are really post Gravity Falls finale, and I'd say some of my favorite memories would include the fan run Cypher Hunt, which was called Code Mageddon back in 2017. Like, I mean, if you remember that, and you're a legend, because like it was such an obscure but kind of now forgotten event, and it was so much fun because like it was so like obscure, but it was just like like because like they advertised a bit of it on Gravity Falls Amino, which at the time I was really into, and that's another one of my favorite memories. Like back in the golden days of Gravity Falls Amino, when it was the place to be if you were a Gravity Falls fan. I mean, now it's sort of dead, but like back then it was a lot of fun, and yeah, that's how I found out about it. I think another fandom memory I do have that I really do love is the Puzzling Pines event on the night of February 15th, 2018. That was the night that Alex announced and revealed the cover for Lost Legends, and that was just so much fun. Like, that was the closest I think I'll ever get to experiencing what the Gravity Falls fandom was like when it was in full motion, because like fans came back and we were all just deciphering and trying to figure out what this puzzle was, and like what it could all mean. And like if you go through the Puzzling Pines hashtag, like on Twitter, like there are so many amazing like theories and questions. It was so much fun. Like that's the thing about Gravity Falls, which I think no other show can replicate, is that fandom like connection and community feeling that you get. Because like other shows that I have been part of, like to some extent, they just don't feel as united or connected into one aligned enjoyment like others like Gravity Falls was. Because like I think the closest I've seen is like the Hilda or Amphibia fandom, but like the other shows I've watched, like their fandoms are nowhere near as exciting or as fun to be part of as the Gravity Falls fandom has been. And it's kind of probably why I'm still stuck in the Gravity Falls fandom, because like contrary to popular belief, there are still Gravity Falls fans in 2021, and there's still a lot going on in the background with the show. And I mean, even though Disney has no interest in making more Gravity Falls content, the fans do, and so long as that continues, I don't think the show's going to be dying anytime soon. And I guess that's it. There's no more questions I can find, and the deadline to submit questions has already passed. So, with that said, I can't thank you all enough for submitting all your questions in. It really is amazing, and I truly am grateful for it. When I made this channel back in 2017, I had no idea it would ever grow this big and ever become this popular. And the community that we've created is just incredible. And like at the end of the day, I'm just one small factor in it. Like the real people that truly make this whole project and experience so special are you guys. It's just amazing. Like I never thought that Gravity Falls, even in 2021, could still capture so many people's imaginations and just make them so excited and happy. And like, so long as that's something that continues to happen, I will be continuing to keep the show to some extent alive. And so long as you want to watch it, like, I am down for it. Like, it's just an amazing thing to feel like Gravity Falls still around in 2021, man. Like oh my gosh, like the show's almost a decade old, and like here we are still. The show still, even post finale, is still more popular than some shows that are currently airing are. Like that should tell you something about just how amazing this show was. And like the community is just incredible. Like for all my problems with the Gravity Falls fandom, like I am truly grateful for all that it's done, and like I just cannot. I just continue to be amazed by how amazing the fans with the show are, and so long as that's the case, I am going to continue being part of it. So thank you once again for submitting your questions. Um, Stay tuned for more videos like this. I have a lot of ideas in the works, and so long as I'm not distracted by anything, I will be getting them out real soon. So stay tuned for that. There are just so many more stories to tell with Gravity Falls, and yeah, it's just gonna be so amazing. So thank you all for watching, and see you next time.